Hello, my amazing grade 4 students. Today, our Walt is that we are going to experiment with color mixing, ooh, very fun, including mixing neutrals with complementary colors. There's two things I want you to learn about today, and that is the word neutrals and complementary colors. Let's look at complementary colors first. On the color wheel, our complementary colors are across from each other on the color wheel. So the complement of blue would be orange. The complement of red, green. How about violet or purple? Can you see? Yeah, it's yellow. And when we add these two, you may have experienced at different times in making art that sometimes when you mix them together, they make brown. And that's what we are going to be doing today. We are going to be purposely making brown using our complementary colors. So that is our neutral. A brown is a neutral color like black, white, and gray. Today we are purposely mixing complementary colors to make brown. Our inspiration for what we're going to do with our brown today is going to be making a tree cut section. At your table, you'll be able to see a real tree cut and all of the various rings that are in the tree, as well as the bark on the outside. The tree rings, you may know from your science units, are from each year of growth of the tree. And we can see the variation of dark light from that tree growth. We are going to be using that inspiration to make our own tree cut section. Last lesson, we explored making tints, shades, and tones. We will use that same knowledge today to create our tree sections, a tint and a shade of our neutral. Let's begin with our color mixing. Today you will be getting a paper plate. On it, I would like you to split it in half with a permanent marker and into a fourth. Then please write the words shade, tint, and neutral. So here I have planned that I'm going to be mixing purple and yellow together to create my neutral. This is going to help you organize your palette and keep all the things that you want in those places. When we mix tint and shade, we accidentally make tone, and we don't want to use tone today. Your palette that you have at your table will have all your complementary combinations, so purple and yellow, red and green, orange and blue. Today, I've decided I'm going to use yellow and purple. Please take and select and dip it onto your plate. Please bring your plate close to the paint selection so that you don't drip that paint over anyone else's artwork. We want to create a good amount of this neutral selection because we're then going to split it up into our shade and our tint. So we want to have enough to do that. I also want you to know that some of the colors are more powerful than others. So the purple is more powerful than yellow. So I'm going to add more yellow than I will purple because when I mix them together, I want to create a perfect neutral. Let's go over the other ones. Red is more powerful than green, and blue is more powerful than orange. So use less blue, less green, and less purple. I can remember because those are my cool colors. The cool colors are more powerful than the warm colors. Today you will have two brushes. One is going to be for shade and one is for tint. But for right now, I will just mix up my neutral color using one of the brushes that I have. We want to keep our paint in one specific location so that I'm not painting my paper plate, I'm just using it for mixing. You can already see that I'm starting to create a very nice neutral brown. I feel like my brown is quite yellow though, so I may want to add a little bit more purple because we want our brown to not look more or less than one color. We want it to be an equal neutral. So I'll add a little bit more purple to my plate. It's better to add more later than not be able to take it away. Okay, so now I have a brown color. I could probably add a little more purple, but I think that's good for now. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is separate it into my tint area. I want to stay organized so that later when I start my painting, I have enough paint that I can just go right ahead and start all my tree rings. And do some in the shade area. And it's okay if I go ahead and just keep some in my neutral spot as well. Great. Now for my tint, what color am I going to add? White. You're right. Let's go ahead and put in some white in my tint section. And black. Black is quite powerful, so please, please, please just do a little dot to begin. Just that much is enough. And then use your brush to mix up both of those colors. Wonderful. I am ready to start painting my tree rings. For the tree rings, don't worry, we are okay to just go ahead and paint very lumpy looking circles. So I'll start with a nice lumpy circle in the center of my paper. And we are going to do contour lines to create that lumpy tree ring effect. So then I'll go ahead and take some shade. Oh, my shade is quite dark, even though I only added a small amount of black. Black is so powerful, so we want to be careful how much black we add. But that's okay, I'm going to go ahead and keep using it because today our Walt was that we are going to experiment with color mixing. So don't worry if it's not exactly how you thought it was going to look, because I want you to see how those neutrals can be created and how we can vary our neutrals with black and white. We're using two brushes because when our black and white mix, we can accidentally make a tone, and your tone will make your tree ring look very, very dead. We don't want a dead looking tree ring. So just like this, continue your concentric contour circles using your two different brushes of your tint and your shade. When you get to the very end, when you've done enough of your circles that your paper is almost filled, the very last thing that I would like you to do is try and use a little bit more black to even add more to your shade to then create a very bumpy texture similar to the bark on our real tree cut that we see. And just move your brush up and wiggle it to make a little bit of that bumpy bark look. After we're finished, you can put your art on the drying rack, throw your paper plate, and we will wash up our brushes in the toilet sink, and you'll be finished for the day. All right, boys and girls, please enjoy your color mixing and experimenting with making neutrals.